Did Rich Eisen just hint at a series of moves that could shake the entire NFL landscape? The Dallas Cowboys are once again being linked to Myles Garrett, and if that deal gains traction, it could instantly transform their defense into a powerhouse. But that's not all. Rumors are also swirling about Kirk Cousins possibly heading to the Los Angeles Rams, while Ty potentially landing with the New York Jets adds even more mystery.
Some believe these are just off-season whispers. Others think something big is brewing. So which of these moves is actually real, and which one could happen first? Something big is brewing in the NFL right now, and the kind of buzz that usually starts as a whisper is suddenly getting louder by the minute. When Rich Eisen starts connecting dots across the league, you know it's not just random noise. This is the kind of chatter that can flip entire franchises overnight. And today, we're diving into 3 potential moves that could completely reshape the NFL landscape as we know it.
Let's start with the one that's already sending shockwaves through fan bases, and that's the possibility of Myles Garrett heading to the Dallas Cowboys. Now just take a second and imagine that. A defense that already has star power suddenly adds arguably the most dominant pass rusher in football. We're talking about a player who can single-handedly change the outcome of games. A guy offenses have to scheme around on every single snap. Pair him with Micah Parsons, and suddenly quarterbacks across the NFC are losing sleep before kickoff even arrives.
The Cowboys have been knocking on the door for years now. They've had talent, they've had flashes, but something always seems to fall short when it matters most. This kind of move isn't just about improving the roster. It's about making a statement. It's about saying this team is done waiting and ready to take control of the conference. But the big question is what it would cost.
Because a player like Garrett doesn't come cheap. Not in draft capital, not in cap space, and definitely not in long-term planning.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Cleveland Browns aren't exactly in a position where they want to give away their franchise cornerstone. So if there's any truth to these rumors, it means something significant is happening behind the scenes. Either there's internal pressure, a shift in direction, or an offer so massive that it forces their hand. And if Dallas is truly in the mix, you have to believe they're willing to go all in. Now, let's pivot to another storyline that's gaining serious traction, and that involves Kirk Cousins potentially landing with the Los Angeles Rams. This one might not feel as explosive at first glance, but don't be fooled. This could be one of the smartest moves any team makes this offseason. The Rams have been searching for stability at quarterback, especially with injuries and inconsistency creeping into their plans over the past couple of seasons.
Cousins brings experience, accuracy, and a level of consistency that coaches absolutely love. He's not flashy in the way some quarterbacks are, but he's reliable, and sometimes that's exactly what a team needs. Imagine him stepping into Sean McVay's system, working with a creative offensive mind that knows how to maximize quarterback efficiency. That combination could quietly turn the Rams back into a serious playoff contender.
But again, there are layers to this. The Minnesota Vikings have built around Cousins for years, and moving on from him signals a major shift. It opens the door to a rebuild, or at least a retooling phase, and that's not something organizations take lightly. For the Rams, though, this could be the kind of calculated risk that pays off immediately. It's not about chasing headlines. It's about building a system that works week in and week out.
And then there's the wild card of this entire situation, a move that could either look brilliant or backfire in spectacular fashion depending on how it plays out. We're talking about Tyreek potentially heading to the New York Jets. Now, when you hear the Jets mentioned in trade rumors, it's usually a mix of excitement and skepticism, and for good reason. This is a franchise that's been trying to find its identity for a long time, constantly searching for that missing piece. If this move happens, it's not just about adding talent, it's about changing perception. The Jets want to be taken seriously, not just as a team with potential, but as a team that can actually deliver results.
Bringing in a player like Ty could inject energy into the roster, create new opportunities offensively or defensively depending on the role, and most importantly, send a message that this team is ready to compete.
But let's not ignore the risks. The Jets have made aggressive moves before, and not all of them have worked out the way they hoped. This is a team that has to balance ambition with smart decision-making. They can't afford another misstep, especially in a division that's already stacked with talent. Every move has to count. Every decision has to be calculated, and this one would be no different.
What makes all of this even more fascinating is how interconnected these moves could be. One trade doesn't just affect two teams, it creates a ripple effect across the entire league. If the Cowboys land Garrett, it changes how other NFC teams approach their offseason. If the Rams secure Cousins, it reshapes the quarterback market. And if the Jets make a splash, it forces their rivals to respond.
This is the chess match of the NFL offseason, and every move matters. Front offices are constantly evaluating, negotiating, and trying to stay one step ahead. And sometimes the biggest deals are the ones nobody sees coming until they're suddenly right in front of you.
You also have to consider the timing of all this. As we get closer to key off-season milestones, the urgency starts to build. Teams don't want to miss out on opportunities, especially when they believe they're just one piece away from something special. That's when bold decisions are made, and that's when rumors like these start to turn into reality.
And let's be real for a second. This is exactly why we love the NFL. It's not just about what happens on Sundays, it's about everything leading up to it. The drama, the speculation, the what-ifs. Every rumor sparks debate, every potential trade fuels excitement, and every confirmed move changes the conversation. Imagine the headlines if even one of these deals goes through. Garrett in Dallas would dominate sports talk for weeks. Cousins in Los Angeles would instantly shift expectations for the Rams. And a major addition in New York could finally give Jets fans something to truly believe in. But until anything is official, this is where things stand. Possibilities, not certainties. Conversations, not confirmations. And that's what makes this moment so intriguing. We're right in the middle of the unknown, where anything can happen and everything is still on the table. So now the question turns to you. Which of these moves would have the biggest impact? Is it the defensive dominance Dallas could create, the stability the Rams might gain, or the spark the Jets are chasing? Because no matter how you look at it, these aren't just minor adjustments. These are potential game changers.
And if Rich Eisen is right to even bring these possibilities into the conversation, then it means teams are talking, deals are being explored, and the groundwork is already being laid. The only thing left is to see which one, if any, crosses the finish line.
Stay locked in, because the moment something breaks, everything changes. And in the NFL, it only takes one move to flip the entire league upside down.